you something else I seen today. Man can't deliver you from the pit. If God has in His plan, listen to me, if God has in His plan for Donald to go into a pit, to be brought down so he can exalt, that's God's plan. Man may have an idea in his head. Brother Terry, you may have an idea in your head that you'll come over and help Brother Donald and get me and help me out. That's good. I'm glad you got that idea. But man can't help you out of God's plan. He can't help you out of that pit if you're in there and God's going to get you out. Look back now at Genesis 37, verse 18 through 22. We got friends, thank God. I thank God for friends. We got friends that say, he's down, I'm going to go help him. Fine, you go help. You do everything you can, but understand that if I'm in that pit or if you're in that pit for a reason and a season, there's nothing you can do. God is working a plan out. God is going to raise God's going to raise me up, Brother Terry. He's going to raise you up. I don't care who it is tonight. God is going to do the work.
Right, amen.
I can try to help all I want to as much as I'd like to. I can come over to the edge of that pit and say, hey, I'm up here, I'm going to help you out. But if God has got you there and He's going to lift you up, He's going to do it and He's going to get the glory, and He's not going to allow me to help. Genesis 37, verse 18. I'm going to show it to you right here. Now when he was coming, it said when they saw him afar off, even before he came near to them, they conspired against him. And I'm going to read through 22. They conspired against him to slay him. And one said, and they said one to another, behold, this dreamer comes. Verse 20 says, come now therefore, let us slay him, cast him into some pit, and we will say some evil beast has devoured him. That was the plan. And we shall see what will become of his dreams then. Then we're going to see what happens. That's the way the world looks at it. That's the way the devil had it planned. And Reuben, his friend, the only one he had, Reuben heard it and delivered him out of their hands and said, let us not kill him. He had one on his side. He had one man, one brother, the oldest one. He had one that said, I'm going to help him out. I'm not going to let him, I'm going to try to help him out. So Reuben had a plan. They had a plan. Reuben had a plan. Everybody's got a plan. The devil's got a plan. Your enemy's got a plan. Your friends has got a plan. Everybody's got a plan, but it all come to naught. Don't mean nothing. When God's plan is in control, when God's plan is set into motion, He's got you there for a reason. I don't care how many plans is made. I don't care who's got the plans to help you. I don't care who's got the plans to put you to your end. It's all for naught. It's not going to happen because God has the plan. He said He delivered him out of their hands and said, let us not kill him. And Reuben said to them, shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness and lay no hand upon him. This is why. This is why He told them. It's separated right there. He said, don't lay no hand on him. Cast him in this pit in the wilderness, lay no hand upon him. And this is why. That he might, Reuben, that he might rid or rescue, that he might rescue him out of their hands and deliver him to his father again. That was Reuben's plan. Reuben had a plan. Y'all don't kill him. Let's take him over here. We'll cast him in this pit in the wilderness. And okay, that's what we'll do. So Reuben had a plan. And Reuben had a plan that he would go back and he would get him out of that pit and deliver him again to his father. He was going to help him. He was going to help Joseph. But you can't help somebody when they're in God's plan, because God has a greater plan than your plan. You can't come and get me out of a pit if God's got me there for a reason. You can't get me out of that pit because God's going to do it, and God's going to do it His way. Alright? Let's go on now to verse 29. Put it all together right here. And Reuben returned to the pit. See? Reuben came back. Only friend he had. Reuben said, I'm going to go back, I'm going to get my brother out of the pit, I'm going to take him back to Daddy. A lot of people want to come get you out of the pit and take you back to the Father's house and take you back to Daddy, wherever, the safe place is. But if God has His plan in motion, no man's going to upset it. He said that Reuben returned to the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit. And he rent his clothes. He tore his clothes. Where's he at? I had a plan. I don't know where he's at. And you know, they rent their clothes and they sat down and they cried out to God. He was brokenhearted. Reuben didn't understand. He had a plan. He was going to go back and he was going to help. Somebody might have a plan to come back and help you out of that pit. But God's plan has already been set into motion. They might walk up there to where you were at and you're not there anymore and they don't know what happened. I'm telling you what happened. When I walk up there and I think I'm going to help you out, I look in there and you go, God has already gotten you out. God has already moved on your behalf. He has already got you out of that pit. The same pit that I thought I was going to get you out of. God said, I'll get him out. And when I get him out, and when I exalt him, he'll be exalted. And if Reuben would have went and got him out, took him back to his father, he would have never been exalted. He would have never been sold into bondage in Egypt. He would have never been set over Pharaoh's house. He would have never been in a place to keep the food coming to his people when they come into Egypt in the middle of the famine. He would have never been set in a place to deliver them in their time of need. You would never be set in the place that God has for you if somebody come along and dug you out of that pit. We got to stay in the pit and let God get us out of that pit. If you want to help somebody, help them, do what you can. But know that God is going to get you out of there. And Reuben returned to the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit. And he rent his clothes, and returned to his brothers, and said, the child is not, and where shall I go? So he went back. He had a plan. He was going to help his brother. Went back, he was gone. Because God had already done what God was going to do. God had a plan for Joseph before he ever went running to catch his brothers.